Andrew from Comeback Kid, welcome to Chatting with Ghost Cult Magazine. So good to see you in person through video. How amazing is this technology? I miss shows and I miss hardcore shows the most because, just this is the pandemic. It's, what is a punk in a hardcore show without being able to jump on the stage and grab the mic and dive off and
Totally.
everybody's in tight.
Where you located?
I'm in Northern California now. I was mostly an East Coast person my whole life,
Hmm.
and now I'm in California. But I'm sure we'll get to see you at some point on
Yeah, we
the
were just out there. We are just out
yeah,
in Santa Cruz, but
yeah,
not actually like Northern
yeah,
California,
yeah.
really.
I mean, well, Santa Cruz is just like south of here, but like if you don't drive, it's kind of tough to get
For
to.
sure, dude.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm not driving to like Detroit for a show, for example. It's the same amount of distance from Toronto, you know?
Right. Yeah, of course, of course. And of course, we're here to talk about Heavy Steps, the brand new record coming out soon on Nuclear Blast in the World, and fine. You always do a very cool local DIY label, even if it's I don't know if it's you guys personally or peers and admirers, but it's always cool to see that no matter how you guys have gone in over 20 years as a band, you always have like a local release, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's also kind of for necessity. Just we always need a Canadian label to kind of run our business the way that we have to run it. So that, but it is good to have like someone that I can like actually like, yo, like Jake who runs like New Damage. Like, hey man, can I just like, I just can call him if like things are getting a little hairy with the emails and stuff like that. It's just like, it's good to have people kind of in the same time zone as you, because a lot of the people I would deal with at Nuclear Blast, that's like in Germany or the UK. So I'm like I have to get my wits about me earlier in the day than I would prefer. I guess I'm a night owl, so you know.
Most of us are all the coffee and Red Bull possible to do those early morning meetings into Europe, and the same thing for us. So I all respect. But yeah, man, it's super cool. And then I just think it's really cool. Kind of like it's funny to me as a kid, funny in a casual way, not like haha funny, but like amusing to me. I was never a hardcore kid. I was like a thrash metal kid, but all my friends were punks. So I went to a lot of hardcore shows as a kid in New York City, and I
Mhm.
always felt like the punk scene was much more welcoming, even though at first it was drama, but then like it was like all friendship and all love. And then it just seems like it's funny, like to now, like some of the biggest bands in the world are hardcore, like, started in hardcore or are like hardcore and then they did something else. You have Turnstile right now, Knock Loose, Hatebreed. These are like enormous bands. AFI, I think of even, was like sort of a gothy punk, a Misfits punk,
Mhm.
horror punk. So it's weird to me that like we're suddenly like even this week you have these big festivals are getting announced and these are major bands and they're like punk festivals, so it's like really strange and funny and cool to me that like this genre of music has that started as a very underground regional thing has just exploded all over the world,
Kind
even
of it.
into the mainstream.
Yeah, and it's kind of, yeah, it's like becoming the headliners of these kind of big punk festivals. You know, the Warp Tour, like whatever Warp Tour would be now. You
Mm.
know, it has, you know, so yeah, it's cool to see. I mean, I like a lot of bands that are getting big too, and I like, yeah. So I'm happy. The things that are good for, you know, when a band in a similar world to ours or a heavier band gets recognition coming from the hardcore scene, like on a global level or like a sorry more mainstream level, that'll trickle down to everybody. You know, maybe that's the gateway for someone to hear you know, another band in a similar world. So it's kind of cool, I think.
Right on. And then I often think of a band like Comeback Kid. You haven't put out too much material in this span of time. It's like the just enough, like a record every few years, very consistent. All the records are good. They're all bangers. I always enjoy them. I just listened through like the
Thank
whole
you.
discography the last couple of days and the new record. So it's all
Hell
in
yeah.
the brain space right now. It's like kitchen moshing earlier this morning, making my
Nice. I
coffee.
like the
So
Anthrax jean jacket in the
oh
background, the
yeah,
cut
that's my
off sleeves
back.
too.
Yeah, that's my back patch. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
from New York and I'm from the Bronx. So two of those guys are from my literal
yeah.
hometown,
Nice,
and
nice.
they always rep the punk too. It was funny, like they were like like always at the punk shows, and they were always they had the punk crossover project, and and Scott has a band with Keith Buckley. So like it always comes full circle.
Yeah.
The metal and the punks are friends. But I think about Comeback Kid as a band that hasn't put out like an astounding amount of music, which makes it kind of like, oh, every record
It's
is kind of
like,
like it's a big deal because like you guys haven't oversaturated yourselves or the fans.
yeah, it's crazy. I see some of these bands, some bands that have been around for a while, they are consistent. They're just like every 2 years, or like they'll be, but it's crazy because I've had this record in the bag for like a while now. So I'm almost ready to do music again. Probably not quite yet, but like to like write again. But yeah, like, and that's kind of maybe how it is. Like that you're like, wow, this band's already like writing new music and going to the studio, and the record's only been out for a few months, but you don't realize how long they've probably been sitting on that record before it saw the light of day. So, and some people are more motivated to put their heart and soul into being in the studio and writing tunes all the time. I think all of us in our band, we like to do that, but we also like to go on tour, and then we also like to have like time. We'd go crazy if we didn't have like personal lives by this point. So
Yeah, I mean, you have to have life experience also to be able to make your next record, whether you beat a drum or you sing and yell into a mic.
I love recording. But I can't, like, it's when you're in the studio, it's like a month or two of just like in the studio. It's fun as hell, but I can't do it all the time.
Some people do, and even in the before times of the pandemic, let's say, I know now it's very hip. It's like a singles culture, right, with streaming. But as a band that started out when it first of all, you started as a local band. I'm sure you gave your tapes out and your CDRs out,
Mm,
and then you sold
some
them.
burning them.
Burning those CDRs in your computer or making tapes in a boombox like we used to. And then you kind of graduated up to a band that sold CDs, and you guys were on Victory, and they were like merch monsters in terms of putting out product. And now with streaming, kind of the second half of your career has been the streaming age. So I wanted to know if you could compare, like, obviously not the money, because I'm not trying to pry, but I just think like in terms of the availability of music, I think is a good thing. Obviously, streaming doesn't always pay, but or often doesn't. But I think it's interesting that we have music more available now than at any time, I think, in history.
It's definitely available. I'm not even sure if I can tell you if I like prefer the old way. Yeah, there's like some romantic features about the old way of doing it, but I'm also like, I don't like to I like to be moving around. I travel a lot, and I don't have space for, like, I don't really collect stuff. So I like to have all my music just ready to go on my thing. And so I don't know. It's weird. It's a different time. We're able to pivot. I'm not really like overthinking it. It took a lot. It made like trying to make a record now like pretty, like, with this like vinyl backup and stuff. Like, you just gotta like have everything like handed in very very early in order to make it work. So
What was that thing recently where Adele, this was like her first record to come out on vinyl, so she pressed a million double LPs or 500,000 double LPs, a million sides of vinyl? It's like nothing against her because I think she's great, but like, does she need to sell a million vinyls and print them all at once? I get that it's a
I heard she kind of caused a rift in the vinyl industry
right.
with that. The same way that she just do something with Spotify with
She
like
did. She made Spotify change their policy. Used to be if
and
you didn't have the paid Spotify, albums would just randomly play a song.
and the cornrows is a strike three. So I don't know, but she's good though. She's good.
She's feeling herself. I'm not going to criticize anybody for feeling good about themselves and taking a photo. The cornrows don't work for everybody, man. There's only a handful of people. Bo Derek, there's a handful of people who pulled it off in history. Coolio, Mike Patton. It's not a long list.
Not white people.
Probably not. Not British white
Probably
people.
not.
Maybe not British white people. With their history. Sorry, y'all. I love my British friends, and we have many British people on our team. But I'm just saying, yeah. Just like America, we have a very sordid history with people, and cultural appropriation's not good. But anywho, as we have like a Mayan symbol as our mascot, because we were formed in 2012, the Doomsday Year, and that's where that comes. That's where the cult and ghost cult comes from, and we affectionately call our mascot Culty, by the way, in the house.
Nice.
So anyway, yeah, man, it's just interesting to me all the different flavors and ways the industry has changed just in the couple of decades you've been making music professionally. And again, Heavy Steps. So we have this new record, and it is a banger. It's, as usual, real short and to the point. I love that you guys have really. There's no progressive Comeback Kid record coming. I don't think you guys are going to do a 360 turn and do an Opeth. And now we're progressive rock. I don't think there's not going to be a lot of surprises. You know what you're getting. Great songs, right to the point, straight to the heart. And
Totally.
just
If we're gonna do another genre or something, like, we'll start. Like we've always said this, like from the get go. Like, well, there's been times, I think, you said you like the Broadcasting record, which I don't feel that, I don't love that record myself. But a lot of people do. But to me, that was our. I could have veered there. We could have veered there, but we decided early on that, yeah, like, that would just mean just start another band. If you like, people are gonna want to listen, are gonna listen to Comeback Kid because they want to hear Comeback Kid, you know. So
right on.
it's not we just try to, but you know, it's still, with saying that, we're still able to like take risks and like try out some like cool different stuff on all of our records, and we just want to keep it like exciting and energetic. Like, usually the more like out there stuff would be like a more of a, like a rocky kind of tone or something, you know, or like spaced out or something like that. And yeah, cool, we can do that. Yeah, so you're not gonna hear you know, the something. I'm not gonna make an example, but yeah, you're not gonna hear something fucking
There's no
super.
line dancing Comeback Kid country song coming. Is what we're saying. It's not going to be a it's not going to be a trap rap song. We're going to just keep it true, and that's all good, man. You
Hey,
guys.
but you can't hear, and you can't hear any of the pitch correcting either. So there's the auto tune might exist, but you can't. I don't think anyone can hear it if it ever happens.
I could
It's
not
very
tell.
hard to pitch correct a more distorted vocal, a scream. It's
That is
very
true.
easy to
That is true.
art
I
to
mean, you
that.
guys are really like one of the masters of doing the like hardcore but melodic vocal, and people and the choruses are just indelible. Some of these you guys have had some of the best choruses in the genre, so it's like, of
Appreciate
course,
that, man.
you guys come to play every time, and it's appreciated over here. I'll just shout out some of my obviously the title track, and I'm going to ask some questions about that in a second. But obviously, Face the Fire, the song with Joe DePlantier crossed, obviously Dead on the Fence, True to Form, Stand Still. These are killer songs in there. Like I said, it's in and out, no fat on these songs, no fifth choruses. You know what I'm saying? Just boom, boom.
100%. Yeah, definitely. Try. We shed a lot of the way. We. It's a. I keep on saying with like the Comeback Kid songs, it's just a funnel of material and a lot of editing down, and just until you get there, and then that small little half-hour record.
Well, I mean,
A little more than half, but
yeah, I forgot who said it. Somebody, oh, it's gonna bother me now. Last year, somebody I interviewed was like, the perfect album length is like 38 minutes, and just under or just over is okay. And then more than like 42, 43 minutes, people,
yeah,
even if
I
they
think
love your
ours.
band, they can't pay attention.
Yeah, we clocked out around 32, maybe 33.
Right
So
on. And like whatever length an EP is or a maxi single, nobody's caring anymore. You could there was a band that told me that it was they had an EP, but it was like almost an hour, and I was like, you sure it's an EP? And they were like, thematically for us it's an EP. Then the album is next, and that's an hour and a half. And I was like, okay, that's your band. Um, to me, the old school. I'm still like the leftover from 7 inches and singles, and so I'm
yeah.
thinking about like an
But
EP is
what
28
about that
minutes.
part at like 7 minutes in and 38 seconds? I love that riff. There's like, dude.
Right. And speaking of riffs, you started out as a guitarist, and I see a guitar behind you, and I know you still play. Do you, will you, does the Comeback Kid songs begin life as a riff, or do you sometimes get like a melody idea or a vocal line in your head or in a notepad somewhere?
Traditionally, it would, and it still does a lot. But then also sometimes uh, I'll have a vocal idea with music, like before I kind of pick up a guitar. A lot of stuff kind of formulates as like a plan before I ever pick up a guitar. Probably myself, but then also like if Jeremy or Stu are writing songs or whatever, they're always going to start with riffs. And so there's some songs on this record that we like rewrote like 80 times, like for real. just like vocally, even just like a one specific like chorus or whatever. It's like we could never find the line, so it's just, oh, let's try this one, this one, this one, this one.
Well, it says a
So
lot about you guys that you still have the passion and the perfectionism to try to make it as great as it can be, even 20 years in, even 7 albums into your career. You still want to make it as good as possible. That's a good thing, I think.
for real, for real, we're not really just throwing shit at the wall anymore. It's
Right. That works when you're young. And I think there are some veteran bands that they get a level of success and they're like, everything we do is good. We don't have to edit anymore. And I always feel like that's where a producer comes in, or just yourself, your own ear. I think at this point, you guys could probably do just fine producing yourselves. And, but you have worked with some awesome producers also. But I think that's like the job of the producer is to be like, that can be better or not this, that, as opposed to, because you're close to it when you write the song. It's like your children. You're very close to it, you know?
totally, yeah, no, and I've worked with smaller bands as well too in that role, and I get just obsessed with their music and the project we're working on, or the album we're working on, as they do. So it's all or nothing when you're putting out something for people to hear. But that's kind of would also bring the desire to like do something a little more like nonchalant, like a covers, or a record that you just record in your room and don't even overthink it and just do it live. There's something beautiful to that too. So I think Comeback Kid's able to kind of ride that line a little bit. So
Nice. And it's a generally, to me, a positive sounding record, but of course I find the title Heavy Steps very ominous. Is there an ominous meaning there beyond the lyrics?
yeah, just kind of talking about the fragility of life. Like the lyrics just talk about kind of like moving forward, kind of having the blinders on, got everything coming against you, and you never know how quick the floor could fall under your feet. And it's just pretty much saying like, come test me, let's see what's up. And um and it's hard. So there's a kind of a character that's being played, like that's speaking about that in that song.
Right on. I mean, the last couple of years have just been trying for the whole human race, let alone the
Mhm.
battle
And none of
within.
us know this could all kind of everything is falling or could fall at any time.
Right. Everything is in flux and it's weird because I think
In flux,
a
yeah.
lot of people have probably been just they get their life to a certain point and they coast along and they've been very comfortable and never thought there would be this much uncertainty because they had their life down to a science. Work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep, whatever. We're not meant for all this. We're supposed to live life. We're supposed to be able to travel and see people and hug our friends and go to the bar and see a band and yell in the microphone and not be afraid. So it's been hard. I
Yeah.
know everybody is fatigued. Then again, my heart goes out. You guys are such road warriors your whole career. You're always on tour. So it must have been nuts being home a lot.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We just had a good 5 months though, man. Like we
Yeah.
did, like just after not playing for a year and a half, like we had a really, really good half a year. COVID stopped us in our tracks at the end of the last tour, but we only missed 2 shows at the end. We got a album release tour in Europe right now that's not happening. I think tonight we're supposed to play in Berlin, but I'm in
Mm.
Canada. But it's all about scheduling and contingency plans and rescheduling at this point. And yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get there when we get there.
Yeah, and I try to like soothe the fans. People are like, "Why are they still booking these shows or announcing these tours?" And I try to explain to them that like if you don't hold the room, there's nothing to look forward to.
Yeah,
And you don't want the venues to fall apart, and you don't want people to lose their jobs, and you don't want there's a whole ecosystem here that has to do with the touring
yeah, it's
industry.
a funny one. I've been booking, involved in planning tours for like we talked about, like more than 20 years here, and I've never heard about bands that having the upper hand more by having a venue hold, like a year down the line in a desirable touring area, like because these places are getting booked up like quite, especially like every kind of next period where we talk about trying to do a Europe tour, for example, to replace the one that just got canceled. It's like, well, it's going to be really busy then. The venues. So that's a huge thing going on right now.
Yeah. And I'm sure there were bands who, were sitting on some resources and booked a lot of stuff even when there was nothing to do because they were afraid they were going to not have anything to book when the time came. So, it's a well, as always, the
Gotta
haves
be
and the
smart.
have-nots. So no, I would never harsh anybody for being good at business. But obviously there's a trickle down effect. But
100%.
not trickle down economics because fuck that. And
Yeah.
anywho, so yeah, man. But yeah, heavy steps, man. What a record. And like I said, I feel like it's really cool to hear that there are still new mountains for you guys to feel like you want to accomplish. How did you guys get together with Joe? I know he's a big fan, but how did you get him on your record, Joe from Gojira?
Yeah. His day-to-day guy is like kind of knew our guitar player Stu, or Stu knew him. So we just kind of asked. I just had this kind of part on our song Crossed that, it was a long drawn out kind of yell, like kind of I wanted like an overlord kind of like menacing kind of tone over it. And I thought that it would be, yeah, it just would be cool to get a guest on it. And so we talked about a few people and his name came up and said, yeah, see it, just see. And so he said yes. And I think he recorded it in France. Um, Probably recorded it on his own, I believe. But yeah, just sent it back to me and we edited it and sent it to New York to get mixed. And so it's, just made its way. And so it was
Yeah,
cool to talk to him a little bit about it. And yeah, we were pretty thankful that he was able to do it.
right on. Joe has a lot in common with you for a guy in an extremely heavy band. He has very tuneful, great melodic singing and a lot of great catchy songs, unexpectedly catchy for such a heavy band as Gojira. So very cool pairing of the two things.
Yeah,
That's
thank you, Joe. Shout out Joe.
Yeah. Oh, Joe is wonderful, man. Anybody who's ever met Joe is just like meeting him. He's lovely. He's a lovely dude, and he
He
just
seems like a lovely human.
right, really great. And I feel like we're lucky to live in a time with this guy and his band, and and they
Yeah,
continue to also make new stuff that just like, how do they keep getting
yeah.
so better? How does it keep getting better? I don't understand. Um, but yeah, and on that note, obviously now you work with Joe, who is a fan of yours. Who are you a fan of that you would love to collaborate with in a future Comeback Kid song that you have yet to, or bucket list? Who would you love to work
Oh
with?
damn. There's a lot of people that I would love to. I'd love to work with Brian McTurnan. He's an awesome producer. Um, I asked Walter from Rotting Out to sing on our record, and I thought it was going to happen, but it never happened. So I'd love to have him on a song maybe. Um, be cool to have like Rico Nasty or something. She's like a hip hop artist, but it'd be cool. She has a really hard voice. Cool to like, I don't know, have her on a track. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Fun, lots of fun.
I'm not really like crazy design like trying to get someone on our record, but I do have a track or two that don't have vocals on it, and I was thinking it might be fun to do like something where it's like a whole track of like ignorant, like 5 or 6 people on it. I think that'd be funny. So I would definitely get like someone hard, like Ezak or something like that, or try to get Freddie or someone New York on it. Um, I just listened to this really funny song, and I was actually trying to find it, but it was a 25 to Life song, and it was like Lord Ezak, 25 to Life, Rick to Life, Freddie Madball, and they're all enemies now in real life, I guess. But it was just like just one of those ones where it's just like mad singers on it. I think those are hilarious and
I
great.
think it's an Ice Pick song, which is Zizek's one of his
You're,
bands.
yeah, yeah, no, there was that also, and then there's the one with like Ice T and Jamie Hatebreed on
Sure.
it, and also Ezak as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ezak's always on the hard stuff, so maybe that's why we need
Yeah, he's
him.
everywhere, dude. That dude is everywhere. He's got a podcast now. He's got a rap project. He's just got a clothing line. That dude is hustling hard.
Hell
Queens,
yeah.
Brooklyn, everybody. Yeah, we won't talk about 25 to Life anymore. But anyway, just oh my gosh, taking it back to
Oh,
oh
dude,
man,
I think it's so hilarious, just
what a
as like a
mess.
nostalgia, as just like a point in history, like
Mm.
pretty funny.
Yeah, history will definitely not forget. that band or
Me and the old singer come back in, played with Coming Correct or whatever. We have
oh
a
yeah.
singer, a picture with him, with his shirt off, like, but with him in the middle. We always wanted one when we were kids. So
Of course, man. Those I went to a lot of those shows, and yeah, that's all I'll say about that. But anywho, yeah, fun times though. I mean, yeah, like there's no, you know, it's funny. There was a period of time where you could not get a collab to happen because the record labels and lawyers and shit wouldn't let you. But now it's like, come be on my record, and everybody's cool, and there's no, you know, nobody's getting talked to by their label like you shouldn't be on that song with so and
yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah, I think so. But I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe Joe's label didn't let him be on our video.
Right,
So
right. Although it is a good video, for Cross. That is a good,
mhm.
it's a very good clip, and there's not a lot of, you know, it's like it's videos are still a good way to sell music and sell records and sell a premiere and a pre-order. But it's like I know there's not like the big vehicle pushing a video out anymore. But you know, I think
Yeah, it's like your Instagram now. It's like, yeah,
make this content. But I still like
make it
music
and
videos.
put it out. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, just churn it. But you know, we've all become content creators in a way, all of us. But yeah, it's just fun. What else are we gonna do if we can't get out on the road?
Totally.
So in lieu of the European tour that is not happening, and my condolences to you and your whole crew on that. Like, what's your next thing that you can talk about? Are you
Yeah,
hoping
we
to go
have
to
a
the
full
US
year
or
kind of coming
Canada?
up. There will be more American dates, I think, before the summer. Um, but this starting up, like, after February, we're going to be touring Canada a bunch. As long as they open up again, we have contingency dates if it doesn't happen, but well, that'll take us into the summer. We're supposed to have some festival. We're doing a festival tour in Europe this summer, so that'll be a chance to be out there. But I do really want to do some like album release shows, and just kind of make it like something special for that, which a festival tour wouldn't really be able to do. But yeah, so no, I just had to talk with our booking agent yesterday. Sounds like we're gonna be able to kind of be busy until the rest of the year. So that's what we're hoping. And if more things fall through, then at least we get it in there somehow.
Fingers crossed. I know in terms of Canada, Eastern Canada is a little more locked down than the rest of the country. So, Ontario is like its own country sometimes, and you know, we just have to wait and see. We have to listen to the science and take care of
Yeah,
yourselves and take care of each other. And I try to tell my fellow Americans, not in a politics kind of way, but like you taking care of yourself is not an assault on your freedom. We're trying to all stay alive. This thing can kill us. It's indiscriminate and doesn't care if you are vaxxed or not, but you should care. And I try to tell that to people without being a dick. And
yeah,
but like, yeah, you'd be shocked at how many people down here are just like, not my freedoms. Don't take my freedom away. Nobody's taking your freedom away, guy. Look at the rest of the world where they
yeah,
have no freedom compared to North America, and chill out. Really,
yeah.
we have music, and we could go to a show sometimes, and you know, we get Timmy Hoes, we get Timbits and a coffee sometimes. Calm down, everybody. You know.
Yeah, dude. I'm jealous of America there. You guys are open up. I wanna
Well, yeah, back and forth. I mean,
Yeah.
California's been wide open, and I've been very fortunate to go to a ton of shows as much as I humanly can stand
Hmm.
to. But you know, at the same time, it's you know also nerve wracking, and other places are worse off. So it comes and it goes. We'll see what the future holds, and try to stay. I've been trying to be cautiously optimistic and go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Same, dude. Same, dude.
That's all we can do.
Enjoying
But
it as one step at a time.
right on, right on. But I am enjoying this new record, and I congratulate you guys on putting this thing together and putting it
I
out. It's
appreciate it, man.
one of the more consistent bands in the world. I always like to end these interviews, with a wild card question, and so I
Yep.
have one for you, which is: before you were in music, and you've been in music a long time, but what was the worst day job you have ever had, like Joe job?
Um, uh, Vacuuming up like the basements and different floors of like a unfinished building. And at one point, I think that there was like a whole basement filled with like water and stuff and like a bunch of frogs. So I was like, am I gonna like do I have to vacuum up the frogs? Like it was just weird and gross. It was one of those like labor ready jobs, like the one like so you'd like get like you just show up in the morning and they hopefully give you something. Like I would do those like in between tours once in a while when we were first starting out. So
Wow, yeah, frogs and water and basements. That doesn't
I've
sound good
cleaned
at
shit
all.
off walls too, but that was out of love, you know.
We
That
all
was at work, but out of love for the so
who
you know,
hasn't cleaned a
who
bathroom yet?
hasn't, man?
Horrible. It's like that bathroom in Trainspotting, the worst bathroom in Scotland,
Oh
except
my
it's wherever
god,
you
yeah.
are. Um, Andrew from Comeback Kid, man, thank you so much for hanging out with Ghost Cult. Congratulations again on Heavy Steps coming out soon. And yeah, man, just all the best to you. Be safe, and I wish you guys the best. And I hope I see you next time in person at a show.
Appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thanks.